My name is Mick, I'm 72 and I started at college in 88 and retired in 2018, so I've done 30 years.
My name is Ron, I'm 77. I started at Collier's in 1983 and retired in 2013, 30 years.
Where are we down?
That's it, right.
Down Worsted Road, looking for that building road. You'll find it all at Collier and Catchpole. Aye.
When you go down Worsted Road, yeah. Colin got fined for that. Colin Harrison got fined because he used it after the contract had run out and he didn't take it up with the Radio Orwell.
They used to be on a big notice board down here, didn't it?
Yeah.
Everyone who came in used to
Sing it, don't they?
sing the jingle.
First day to last day, what do you get up to at Collier's?
Working in the yard, learning the forklift then. Yeah, I worked there for a bit. And then I ended up going in the shop. Now, what it was, I was on there for a while, and then they bought a small truck, because we were running back and forwards to the power station, weren't we? Mm. And then they got a bigger truck, and then Paul said he'd look to drive it, didn't you? Mm. So Paul came out of the shop, and I went into the shop, and alongside with Ron.
I knew him when he was a boy.
Yeah, Mark was always a customer here, weren't he? For Howard's.
Yeah, he was, yeah, that's right, yeah.
I started here in 1983. At the time I was working for a building company, driving their lorry. Anyway, it was pouring down with rain and parked up the top. Paul put the pack of slabs on and we stood in the top shed having a chat, and I said, I must be stupid. It's pouring down with rain, I've got no foul weather kit, no boots, no nothing. He said, well, go and have a word with Colin, the manager, because they're looking for a driver. So when I came down to book the materials in, I wandered through to Colin's office and Mr. Collier was in there. I said to him, I believe you're looking for a lorry driver. And they interviewed me there and then. And Colin said to me, what time do you finish? I said, 4 o'clock. He said, I'll let you know by 5 o'clock whether you got the job or not. Sure enough, just before 5 o'clock, the phone went at home. Job's yours. Colin took some flack for that, poached his driver and whatever. So I came here and went onto the lorry, which didn't have a high up then. So it was loaded on with the forklift and handballed off. I was doing that for, I forget how long now, but then Andy Halls, who was working in the yard, his dad was the other lorry driver. And he wanted to be a lorry driver like his dad. So Colin put him through his HGV and I went into the yard working with Paul. And little Jason eventually, and Darren Nunn. That was at the busy time as well. So the lorries would come in, we'd unload everything, just put it anywhere, and then when everybody finished at 5 o'clock, Paul and I used to go and put all the stock away, or build new racks, lay block paving to build the yard up and make lots of extra overtime. We used to get paid weekly. So Mr. Collier used to come down on a Thursday, religiously singled out each person to give it to them personally. And then from working in the yard, Bill the buyer, he was getting a bit doddery, and that was when we went over to computers and he was finding it difficult to order stock and that on the computer. So I started doing stock control for half of the yard. I then moved into the shop. From there, when Bill left, I took over as the buyer. It took me a long while to get salary. Colin, who was the manager then, he just assumed, well, you're on hourly rate, I'll pay you hourly rate. And then eventually he put me onto salary. And unlike this guy, who came in to take over from me when I left, went straight onto salary. I'd always talked about buying a motorhome, travelling around Europe. And in 2004, Kevin Jones was the MD then, and he came down in July. And he said, Ronnie, when are you going? I said, I'll be gone by September. So you keep talking about it. So in August, we bought a motorhome. Didn't have any money, but we bought a motorhome. In September, I went semi-retired. We went to Europe, France, Spain, Portugal, Morocco, and then came back in the March. But on the way back, the first time, we stopped off at Colchester. Kevin Jones, who was the MD then, he said, when you starting back, Ronnie? I said, I'll go on holiday first. I just had 6 months. So on the Monday, I gave him a ring and said, yeah, all right, I'll start back. So he let me come back here. So then I went back and stayed till I retired. I went back as an infill in the yard or helping in the shop or driving the lorry. Then my left leg was too bad, I couldn't climb up and down on the lorry. Because I couldn't drive the lorry, they stuck me in the shop and I took over as buyer. And that's how I finished at Collier's. I retired on Friday the 13th, 2013, because my birthday was on the Monday, and I said I'm not coming back on Monday just to retire. So I retired on the Friday.
And how old were you when you retired?
65.
Yeah, I was 65. Well, I was a day early. I went a day before my birthday. I sneaked a day.
It was my birthday present.
Yeah, my birthday present. But get back, you say some of the early days. I remember we used to have 20-ton loads of cement every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, didn't we?
When you had clean clothes on.
Three times a week we had 20-ton loads of cement in there.
Everybody who was in the yard had to handball it into the cement shed. So all your clean clothes on a Monday were covered in cement dust. Eh?
Cardboard.
Yeah, here's a cardboard. You just put it down onto a pallet, didn't you? Slide out. Because Colin had about 3 loads over, didn't he?
Yeah.
In the yard. Colin, he tried to do it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Swung round and they all went everywhere,
I
didn't
thought it'd be easy, didn't he?
they? Yeah. You just have to pick them up on a cardboard, didn't you, and then slide it under a pallet.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah,
It was an art.
yeah. 18-inch diameter, didn't we? Clay, and we used to keep in stock, didn't we? 18-inch
What,
clay.
so you got new socks?
18-inch clay we used to keep in stock, didn't
Oh
we?
gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
And we used to sell it.
You need sand, cement and bricks and all the
As soon as
rest.
you arrived, you were given
Only one
all
place
new
to go, isn't there?
outfit, green jacket, green trousers,
That's right, yeah.
nice new boots, toe detectors, and tea breaks.
At Collier and Catchpole. Aye.
Colin was such a good manager. If I got a phone or one of the family contacted and said one of the kids has had an accident, he'd say, take my car, you know, don't sit around here, boy, off you go. You know, he looked after all his, well, Colliers in general have always looked after their employees.
Well, I remember you lying on the floor out there, weren't you, with your bag?
I've done more injury him driving up there than all.
That's like when I started here. I think I worked out it was about 50p more an hour than what I was getting where I was. And my first wages, I thought, well, I got a lot more than I should do. And I should have had 50p an hour more like for the first couple of months. And I didn't realise then it was actually £1.50 an hour more. And I got it from the first time. So all of a sudden £1.50 an hour.
Yeah. So you're
It's a lot of money.
when you start.
So then, because that was bloody good money, weren't it? You know, all of a sudden £1.50 an hour more over 40, 50 hours. But they've always been a good company to work for. Mr. Collier, yeah, good old boy.
Yeah. When I bought my house,
Yeah.
just across the road there, I'd got the deposit and everything ready, and then they put the price up. So I needed to find another 500 quid. I wasn't particularly flush then, and the mortgage company weren't prepared. Mr. Collier, whenever he came in, he used to say, you know, how are you getting on with the house and how did this happen and that. And I said to him on this particular day, I said, I need to find another £500 for the deposit. Leave it with me. Next day, check for £500. Pay me back when the sale's gone through. Sure enough, sale went through, straight down to the off licence, buy a bottle of Glenfiddich, get the cheque written out. Next time he came down, I said, thank you very much, sir. He looked at that, he said, do you know what, he said, nobody's ever said thank you like that. And I thought, that's the least you can do.
But that's how it was like, weren't it? As like I said, if anybody wanted to buy a car, he didn't want you going to finance people. He'd rather give you the money and take so much back each month, and you didn't have the extra on top of it, did you? You know, you just had to pay whatever he lent you.
And he hauls out all his cars.
He all his cars through that, didn't he? Yeah, but he did, yeah. And that's the sort of person he was, you know, he looked after people. And that's why I think a lot of people are long term, aren't they? Yeah. You know, in here.
Some of them are long term because they can't get a job elsewhere, but we used to get a productivity bonus. If you reached the monthly target, then we would get a beer and baccy reward. So those that wanted beer had crates of beer, and those that smoke either had packets of cigarettes or rolling tobacco. Christmas was the other thing with Mr. Collier. He made sure that you had Sainsbury's vouchers so you could put food on the table, and we always had a cooked ham, a big one as well.
Yeah, good ham as well.
Yeah, good quality. And that was every year without fail. And the reason he did it was to make sure that those that weren't that well off could actually give their family a decent Christmas.
His theory was if you give people money, a lot of that, they just take it in a pub and drink.
Yeah.
Whereas by doing vouchers and a ham, the family benefit they had something to eat, and the vouchers obviously you give them to your wife to go to shopping. So at least a family got it. Whereas opposed if you give it to bloke some money, you go down a pub and that's gone, isn't it? You know, so nobody benefit.
He used to take us out for Christmas dinner, and he used to attend the meal as well.
And Mrs. Collier.
And Mrs. Collier, yeah.
And Mrs. Collier,
And
yeah.
we were allowed to bring all our
Bring our wives, yeah.
I was with Trevor about 15 years. He used to be like foreman, you know, sort of thing, transport and everything. And you set him on a keyboard, he was, especially if it didn't work.
Yeah, there'd be a few well-known catchphrases that he'd have as well.
Oh yeah.
Did he do a bit of swearing, did he?
Oh, we did a little bit.
Yeah.
One Saturday morning we was in here, and the bloke come down for a concrete lintel, and Trevor was serving him, and he said something to him, and he gave him a price, and this bloke say, bloody hell, he said, juices are only £4.99. So Trevor said, well, why don't you go there and get one? He said, I ain't got any. He said, well, I was a £4.99 when we got any. I won't remember that one Saturday morning. I was about £6 something, you know. Yeah, he said, well, I was on that price, but we ain't got any. I always remember that one. Bloke just looked at him, he didn't know what to do then.
We still use that one.
Still use that one, yeah.
One of the best.
You get the best of Pusa, Colliers, don't you? We used to do the flower show. We'd done that for about 5 or 6 years. We had a 12 by 12 plot, and we used to have a little shed on there and make it like a little garden. It was Christchurch Park, and then it moved up to Trinity Park. And we used to do that for about 6 or 7 years. And we used to set it all out in the top shed, didn't we? Yeah. And then once we got what we wanted, we used to load it on a lorry, and Paul or somebody take it up there in the morning. And I'd spend 2 or 3 days up there putting it all together.
Skiving.
And then that was there for the weekend. And the first one, we got the gold, didn't we?
We don't rightly remember.
And we used to do draw. So you got free patio or free walling. Bradstone used to sponsor it, didn't they?
When I went semi-retired, and the lads all clubbed together, and they bought me and my wife a bike. Called my wife over, Colin did the presentation, and the last thing he said was, now on your bike. And we cycled out of the yard.
My office I was in was at the end there, and we had like glass sliding doors, and the shredder was in there. Roger came in to put something into the shredder. Because as he bent down, his toy cord must have touched the little thing. Next thing you know, that was coming up. And I could hear him shout. And I looked through the glass doors, and that was coming up here somewhere like that. And he was going, ah! Like that, grabbed hold of his toy. Phil sat there. We just looked at it, couldn't believe it. And hence, that's why Marcus done that little drawer on that shredder, if you look. And then he had to cut it off. And Andy got the rest of it, didn't he? Put it and laminated it, did he? And that was hanging on the wall. He always tie all shredded. It's funny. I just look on his face. He's gone.
Could you hear him?
Oh yeah. I just couldn't stop laughing. Bill, when college used to be in
company car.
Yeah, he used to be in Quadland Street, so it's where it was. And then Mr. Collier bought the company and bought this yard and wanted to move it all down to here. Well, Bill come from Chantry, so we used to like walk to there, but he said he can't walk all the way here, so Mr. Collier bought my moped, so we'd be able to run backwards and forwards to here, because he couldn't drive at the time.
That's where the catchpole come from.
So he used to use his moped. Then when Trevor joined the company, he lived near Bill, and he drove. So he used to bring Bill backwards and forwards, and so the only time we actually see the moped after that first initial bit was when he went to the dentist, and he'd come down on it and then go to the dentist and come back. And then when he finished and he had his retirement, he gave him the logbook. And that's the first time I've ever known anybody to have a company moped.
Every lunchtime, Bill used to have his sandwiches and his drink and put his feet up on the table.
Unplug his phone, and then forget to put it back in, did he? He used to unplug his phone, and then people say, can't get old bloody Bill. And he ain't plugged his phone back in. His feet used to be up on the table.
Yeah, he maintained that that's what kept him going. Having that half an hour.
Power nap,
yeah. And he'd wake up, back to work.
That's what we miss, see, the laughs and the jokes he's there.
I don't miss it. It's nice to catch up.
We're just saying, you know, everybody they enjoyed working there, you know, I always did.
As my friends up north would say, it was RE. Well, I don't think there's any other company that look after you the way that Colliers look after you. Be loyal.
Yeah.
And be grateful for what you've got. Knuckle under and be grateful. Yeah. There's a lot of worse places you could work, that's for sure.
Yeah, enjoy it while you're here as well. You know, to a certain degree, like any work, yeah.